What you see here is the eastern tip of Chicxulub Puerto in the Mexican state of Yucatan. 66 million years ago, the worst catastrophe the world has ever seen happened right here when a meteorite hit the Earth and destroyed everything. However, today it looks pretty much like paradise, don't you think? Barbara and I recently got to spend 1 week here thanks to the YouTubers, Two Gringos on the Gulf. Let me introduce you. Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is George Slackegg, and sometimes they call me
the one and only.
I'm here today with Darryle from the channel Two Gringos on the Gulf. Darryle and Jennifer invited Barbara and I into their house for a week in Chicxulub, Mexico, Yucatan. We had an amazing time here. We're grateful, it's really awesome. Darryle, I want to thank you for that.
You're very welcome. We're glad to have you and your wife spend some time with us.
But here's the thing, Darryle and Jennifer, I forgot Cece. There's 3 people to this team here. Anyways, Darryle and Jennifer and Cece, they're also YouTubers, so we have a lot in common, and I can say that I already learned a whole bunch of stuff from Darryle since I'm here, and I kind of hope and think maybe it goes both ways, Darryle.
Absolutely, I learned tons from George while he was here, absolutely, and his wife as well. He's an amazing artist, I have to say.
Well, let's start with your channel. What's your channel name and who's your channel for?
Well, when me and Jennifer moved to Mexico, our audience we thought would be people who wanted to travel to Mexico, whether they're Canadians, Europeans, Americans, or whatever. And then mainly for people who want to move to Mexico from whatever country they want to move from.
Yeah.
You know, because there's not a... When I was searching YouTube, I could only find a lot of Americans doing videos here in the U.S. I couldn't find very many Canadians that were doing Mexican videos, or videos in Mexico, I should say.
Yeah, I could name a few, and then your channel popped up, and that's how I got acquainted with your videos and what you do.
When I started to watch your channel, it was like, as I said, the dinghy, you're floating down the river, and then I checked out a few more of your videos, and I seen you have done some extensive bike tours, in different countries other than Mexico and Canada. So what got you into doing bike tours?
Well, a long time ago, like in a different life kind of thing, I used to be a highway driver, mostly driving in the U.S. I've been through 48 states on a semi, and all you get to see when you're driving a semi is basically the highway, the interstate highway, the truck stop, and the industrial park. So with me, having started trucking in the first place because I saw it as a way for getting free travel, and it worked. I got free travel, and it was a big adventure at first, but then I started missing the best parts of it all the time. And then I got inspired by somebody online. It was an online blog that was written by an Australian who cycled from somewhere in the US, I think it was Oregon, all the way to the Mexican border, and he stopped there, but it got me thinking that maybe I can go beyond that. But what will it be like to go to Mexico on a bicycle? And then it just took off from there. Once you start this, guys, bicycle touring is very addictive.
Yeah. Like tattoos, very addicting. You get one, you want more.
Yeah.
Okay, well that's awesome, George. Great. So do you have anything else you wanted to ask us?
You moved to Mexico about, I guess, a year and a half ago or so. I'm just curious, what's your favorite thing about living here now that you've been here a while?
Oh my God. You know what? It really, that's a tough question because so many things are really good here in Mexico. I mean, Mexico, like every other country, has its problems, but I personally believe that the good outweighs the bad here in Mexico. For me, I think it's the food and the weather and the people. The people, it's just it's very relaxed here. It's more a relaxed lifestyle. Everyone's super friendly. You know, the weather is always nice. A beautiful summer day, you're in the palm trees, you know. And as you know, two gringos on the Gulf, we live on the Gulf Coast of Mexico, so the beach is only a hop, skip, and a jump away. So what's not to love about that? And did I mention the tacos? The tacos are amazing. Now I have another question for you, George. What got you into doing YouTube videos? Why YouTube? So now you've started the bike tours,
Yeah.
and now you're doing YouTube videos. Was that before you started the bike tours, or kind of at the same time?
Oh, the YouTube actually started after, but the idea of making YouTube videos about the bicycle tour, that really only took off when I took a tour all the way across Canada, and I had a little action camera and two other cameras that I had with me, and they weren't the high end or anything like that, but I thought, well, what if I could capture footage all the way across Canada? But no, I had my YouTube channel a little bit before that, and I was actually inspired by other YouTubers, and I was excited about just the possibility of uploading my own stuff and perhaps have it go viral. I've made some videos that was a series that was called The Daily Phone Call. I kind of imitated some scam phone calls and played around with the editing program, and like somebody was calling me, and I was having a hell of a time. I even managed to animate some pictures and stuff, and today they would be considered shorts, but they're in the different format, but they're all like a minute or maybe 2 minutes max.
That's awesome.
It's just having fun.
Yeah.
And still, YouTube is where I learned a lot of things, and well, the idea was to give back some of my stuff, that my own ideas and that, and yeah, it's just exciting. I like YouTube. It's become a passion.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. And again, with like the bike tours, it's addictive.
Yeah.
It becomes addicting.
Oh,
like
totally.
Tattoos and so many other things that are addictive.
Yeah.
But it's a good addiction. That's one thing. So that's awesome. You have anything else for me, my friend?
Yeah, absolutely. In Canada, when I mentioned to people that even Barbara and I, we go to Mexico and do extensive bike tours. Last year we were here and we cycled Yucatan for about 2 months. What I keep hearing constantly is that Mexico is dangerous. Oh, didn't you have any problems? And I would like your perspective on that. What do you tell people when they tell you how dangerous Mexico is?
Well, it's funny you ask that, because just the other day we were walking the dog and George was actually with us, and we were telling this lady we plan on moving to Veracruz, and she said, "Oh, you're brave."
Yeah.
And my first impression was no, we're not brave. We just have common sense. That's all, and we're not partiers. I believe, this is my opinion, I believe if you're not a drug addict, you're not a partier, you're not out there breaking the law, doing illegal activities, the chances are you're going to lead a pretty safe life here in Mexico. Now you got to remember, there's thousands of immigrants that live here, full-time and part-time, and with no issues whatsoever, none. And then not to mention the millions of Mexicans that live here with no problems, no issues, ever. And I believe that most people here are just honest, hardworking people. They want a good life for their family, their children, for themselves, and so I believe Mexico is overall a very, very safe country. We've never had anything stolen here, and back home in Canada, I've had stuff stolen. I believe it's pretty safe here. I really do.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what I tell people. If you're not into illegal activities, then chances are you're going to be pretty fine.
Yeah, I think if you go looking for trouble, you'll find it just about
Exactly.
anywhere.
Yeah.
And some of you guys know I've had something really big stolen in Edmonton where I never expected. But yeah, that's life.
Now I have one more question for you, George.
Yeah.
So, what are some of the challenges you have making your YouTube videos in Canada versus me in Mexico? Because it seems I can have a lot of content here, the beach and traveling around. And back home, I just think, what content do you have? The snow.
Well, as you know, I like outdoor. I like creating outdoor content. And in the wintertime, that's very challenging. I mean, most cameras, they're designed for 0 degrees Celsius, which is 32 Fahrenheit, up to 40 degrees or so. And They'll work when it's cold outside, when it's -20, but don't be surprised if in the middle of what you're trying to capture, the battery dies and the camera shuts down. Another thing that I have a challenge is that it took me forever to be able to talk to the camera naturally like I would to a person, and that is still challenging to this point sometimes because I have to be in the right mindset. And this has nothing to do with the location, you know. Sometimes you have an idea for video, but the moment you turn on the camera, you already, and that's probably being distracted at home. You know, there's other things that creeps into your mind, and then you know, the whole train of thought is sidetracked, and the video just doesn't turn out the way you thought it would.
Yeah,
I don't know if you can relate to that. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, well, that's awesome, my friend. That's good information for sure for anybody who does YouTube videos. Every day is not peaches and cream, so to say.
So your channel name says Two Gringos on the Gulf, but your channel covers more than just this area, right? You have videos that are from other parts of Mexico, and I think you have some plans too for the future of your channel.
Yeah, Jennifer and I want to travel around quite a bit more here in Mexico. We've already done a fair bit of traveling. I say we've been to, you know, Holbox, El Cuyo, you know, Bacalar, Mahuel, gone to San Cristobal now, and, you know, I did a little week excursion with my good friend Jorge to Mexico City to visit his father, which we will be going back to Mexico City at some point. You can count on that because I really loved it there. And Jennifer never got to experience Mexico City, so our plan is now actually our lease is up here in April, and we're going to be moving from here, and we're going to work our way across Mexico, eventually to the west side of Mexico in south of Oaxaca on the coast over there for a while. But we're going to be stopping in Veracruz for sure for, I don't know how long yet, it's undecided, but for sure Mexico City area for 1 year. And then from there, we're going to carry on to southern Oaxaca to the coastline. That's kind of the plan.
That's exciting. Yeah. I'm almost jealous. Like, guys, if you're interested in Mexico and maybe thinking about moving to Mexico, or you don't know where you would want to live and stuff, I think Darryle and Jennifer's channel is the one you need to follow. So I'll put a card up here for you to click on and go check it out. It's awesome. Now, Darryle, what do you do with all your winter gear? Did you sell it on eBay, or like, do you still have it somewhere?
No, you know what? And after the trip to Mexico City and to Jessica's family there in San Cristobal, I wished I would have kept some of it. Luckily, I ended up buying a hoodie actually, but all of our stuff we sold when we left Canada. Me and Jennifer sold absolutely everything we owned.
Everything.
Yeah, I did bring, I think 1 or 2 hoodies, and that was it. And Jennifer really didn't want me to even bring that, but after going to Mexico City and San Cristobal, I'm glad I did bring them. But yeah, I have no winter boots, that's for sure. This is my my attire now. That's it, flip flops and tank tops.
Yeah, I'm jealous.
Yeah.
Anyway, but
well, you're here now for a month.
I'm here now, yeah, for a month, and I'm sure we'll be back in Mexico and probably other parts of Latin America, because we both love it here, Barbara and I, and glad to have met you. So
yes, me too, my
maybe
friend.
we can hook
I'm
up
glad to have
some
met
other
you
occasions down the road. Who knows, right?
Absolutely.
We'll
for
get
sure.
you some panniers for your bikes and.
I have one more question for you, my friend. Do you guys ever plan on moving to Mexico? And if so, where would you move to in Mexico and why? And if you're not going to move to Mexico, what are your guys' plans like in the future?
Well, we haven't really talked about moving to Mexico. But I shouldn't say that. We have, but we're not at that point. We'd like to explore different areas of the world. And when I first learned Spanish, I did it because this opens up the doors to so many Latin American countries. You know, Mexico is only the beginning. There's Guatemala, there's like El Salvador. You go further south, we've been to Colombia already. And we're at the point where whenever possible, we'd like to travel to different places during the winter, and we're not like financially at the point where we can just quit or rely on YouTube to pay us and live at a certain place. Like Edmonton, for us right now, it still is a place where it's easiest to make a good income for both of us. That may change in the near future, and we're also getting older, so I think moving to Mexico in the future, it's very, very tempting, and perhaps we'll do that at some point. Yeah. And we've been to Veracruz, both Barbara and I, and we liked it there a lot. And we probably would have traveled there more, but the connections from Canada aren't that great because it's a small airport, and then you find yourself on the road or taking another flight and stuff. And with bicycles, that's always a little bit of a pain. So, we usually ended up in Cancun for that reason. But
and then I get that for sure. But then now they have the Mayan train that they're building. So,
that's
a lot of
kind of awesome.
Yeah, for a lot of people, right? So, and George says he's jealous of us. Well, I'm jealous of him a little bit because he speaks really good Spanish. So, George speaks 4 languages.
Yeah,
he speaks 4 languages. So I'm pretty jealous about that. I'll tell you guys.
Well, it just came about traveling, and you're on the right track. I mean, the key to learning a language is not the books or taking a course. It is actually going out in public by yourself when the only language that is spoken around you is the language you're trying to learn. That's how it happened to me. And I tell you, there were some tough moments and some embarrassing moments, but take it with a grain of salt, laugh about it, have a good time,
Yeah.
And eventually you'll get there.
You know what I hear when you say that, George? So if I'm going to just come to Mexico and hang around with gringos and only talk to gringos, chances are I'm not going to learn Spanish too well. So maybe I'll try to make some more Spanish-speaking friends.
You've got Jorge and Jessica.
Exactly.
And, there are lots of good people down here that don't speak English, and it doesn't all have to happen in a day.
That's for sure. Anyway, my friend, I think we've wasted enough time for these beautiful people here on YouTube. So I want to thank you again for being here. And guys, I'm going to put a link for George's channel in the description. I'm not as fancy as him, so I'm just going to drop a link in the description. Be sure to check it out. He's got some interesting videos. He's got a really cool video how he repaired his DJI drone. So if you have a DJI drone, you definitely got to check that out. It's got 21,000 hits already, so be sure to check it out, guys.
My advice, don't crash it in the first place, but if you do, I got you covered.
Thanks for watching,
all right.
guys.
Thanks.
Adios. Peace out. God bless everybody out there, and peace on earth.